Floating or Sinking by Julie K. Lundgren. A natural force. A leaf floats on water. A pebble sinks in water. Why do some things float? Why do other things sink? Big icebergs float in the sea. Cereal floats in milk. An object placed in water makes a place for itself by moving some of the water away. When the amount of water moved equals the upward force of the water, the object floats. Experiment. Fill a sink with water. Place a balloon or a ball in the water. Note that it floats. Try pushing it to the bottom of the sink. Can you feel that upward force of the water pushing it back on your hand? Now let go. The balloon or the ball will shoot up and float again, kind of like my pumpkin did, right? An object's ability to float is called buoyancy. Things with good buoyancy float easily. Compare the buoyancy of a sponge, a wood block, and a metal cube. So taking a look, we see the sponge is way up here, so it's got lots of good buoyancy. The wooden block is floating, but it's down below that red line, a little bit more below the water line, I should say. And then the metal cube is way down there. Density and floating. Density describes how heavy or light something is for its size. Objects that are light for their size float more easily. These things have low density. Rubber duck versus real duck. Objects that contain air are light for their size. A rubber duck has air inside. A real duck has air inside too, in its lungs, bones, and feathers. Both ducks float. Objects that are heavy for their size sink. They have a higher density. The rocks in the fishbowl are small, but heavy for their size. Things that are the same size can have different densities. Objects made of tightly packed materials are denser than objects made of loosely packed material. The milk containers are the same size, but the empty container is lighter than the full one and has lower density. I'm going to do something real quick. I gave you a little sneak peek, but I don't want you to see too much. There we go. All right, so this one says predictorama. Predict if these objects will sink or float. Rock, banana, lime, key, soccer ball, a shoe, there we go, empty water bottle, a toothbrush, sunglasses, or a cell phone. Now, you can't just put a cell phone in the water. Predict, just make a guess, and I'll show you the answers at the end of the book. You can look underneath it, and I'll hide them there for you, and you can check your work. All right, I'm going to take it back down to the regular size. There we go. Shape and floating. Do heavy things always sink? Do light things always float? A metal fork sinks. Many ships are made of metal, yet they float. Take a closer look at the fork and the ship. A fork has no way to trap air. The metal forming a ship acts like a cup to hold air. The shape and size of a material can affect its ability to float. So see, this can't hold the air, but all of the space inside this big cargo ship has space for air. What is a sailor's favorite breakfast? Float meal, instead of oatmeal. Predictorama. So here's another thing that you can do at home. How many pennies can we put in an aluminum foil boat before it sinks? And what happens as we add more coins? So you can use an aluminum foil bowl like this, or you can take a piece of tin foil and kind of make your own little boat with it too. Here are your materials you need. I'm not going to read it all out because I'm running out of time. But here you can pause it and look in to see what you can do. You can just see how many pennies it takes before it sinks. All right, here are some questions I'm going to type for you. Name some things with good buoyancy. Why do you think ice floats in water? Which has a higher density, a balloon filled with air or a water balloon?